Yeah, hello everyone. Myself, I'm Dr. Sareen, and in the last session, we have studied about the human eye and how does the human eye works and what are the different parts of the human eye and how those things help us in order to imagine or in order to picturize the image of any of the object. These are the concepts we have studied initially regarding the human eye. And then later we have covered the concepts like what are the different kinds of eye defects that can be occurred and how we can make the correction of that eye defects. So those concepts we have covered in the previous lecture. And here in this particular lesson or in this class or in this lecture, we'll be studying about the refraction of light through the glass prism, and let us try to understand how it happens and how it works with the lens of a human eye. Why? Because we know that human eye has got a lens, and how does that lens works we are supposed to study over here. So see now. First, if you take about any of the glass prism here, there are different kinds of components which we can find here. So first one, this entire triangular part which you see, it is called as a glass prism. This one is called as a glass prism. And here, if any of the light ray passes in this direction, this is a normal, this is a normal over here. First, because if any of the light ray passes, we know that for the lenses or for the mirror, we have studied about a normal line, which is an imaginary line which is drawn in order to differentiate between a refracted ray or reflected ray and also incident ray. So now we are having a normal, this is your normal line. And then now see, I'll try to explain the diagram here first. If any of the incident ray is passing over here in this direction, this is your incident ray. If any of the incident ray is passing and it is striking the prism over here, if it is passes the prism, inside the prism, it travels in a straight line. See, this part I'm talking about. This is the ray which is traveling. So this is your incident ray, and this part I can call it as a refracted ray. Why? Because it is traveling from one medium to another medium. What is the first medium? The light is traveling from air, and then it is entering into a medium called as a glass. So now it is entering from air to glass. So definitely it will be called as a refraction, but not the reflection. Why? Because reflection happens in the same media. But whereas here in this one, in the refraction, it happens, the incident ray will be in one medium, and the refracted ray will be in another medium. So this is your refracted ray. Then after that, after entering into this glass, afterwards, again that refracted ray will try to come out. The ray which comes out after this, from this prism, glass prism, that is called as an emergent ray. This straight line, whatever you find over here, this is called as a refracted ray. And after that one, that light ray will not stay inside the prism, but it try to come out of the prism. The ray which comes out of the prism, that is called as an emergent ray. Now let us see, let us see the few terminologies which are related with this emergent ray and the refracted ray or the incident ray. So see, actually, in fact, here the incident ray, whenever it travels through the prism, it has to travel in this direction. This is the one I'm talking about. It has to travel in the same straight line. Okay. And then here, if this is the refracted ray and that refracted ray is coming out of the prism, this will become your emergent ray. If I draw one line of this emergent ray in the backward direction, wherever this emergent ray in the backward direction strikes the virtual incident ray, that these two rays, this one and I'm talking about this one, emergent ray in the backward direction, those two makes an angle. The angle that has been made by the incident ray, a virtual incident ray, and the emergent ray in the backward direction, that is called as an angle of deviation. Similarly, if you are talking about angle of emergence is nothing else but the angle of emergence is a line which is made between the normal and also a emergent ray, which is made between the angle made between the normal and the emergent ray, that is called as an angle of emergence. And here the angle which is made between the incident ray and normal is called as an angle of it's an incidence, angle of incidence. So see now, this is an air medium and this is a glass medium. Again, then from a light ray is traveling, it has now entered from air to glass, and then from glass to air is entering. So there are two kinds of refractions happening. The ray which has entered first and into the glass, that ray we call as a refracted ray. Again, the ray which is traveling from the glass to air, we call it an emergent ray. So there are three different kinds of rays which you are seeing in this diagram. First ray is called as an incident ray. The second ray is called as a refracted ray. And the third one is called as an emergent ray. So now see now, whatever I have explained, I have put it here in this sentences here now. When a ray of light passes through a glass prism, it gets bent twice at the air and glass interface, isn't it or not? Whenever the light ray passes through a prism, it bends over here from air to glass, and also it bends from over here at the prism at this part B. Let me put it as these two parts. This is a part A and part B. Initially at a part A, the ray is entering from air to prism, so it's bending over here at this part. And again, this part is a part B. Second time, the ray is which has become now the refracted ray, which is moving out of the prism into the air. So again, it is bending over here. So these are two parts. So here now. So what's happening here? When a light ray passes through a glass prism, it gets bent. The bending of the ray is called as what? Refraction. So it gets bent twice at the air glass prism and glass air interface. First one is called as what? Air and glass interface. Second one here, point B, it is called as a glass and air interface. The emergent ray. Now we are talking about some definitions, and kindly concentrate here. The emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray. Emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray. The emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray, and this angle is called as angle of deviation. What is angle of deviation? The emergent ray is deviated. Emergent ray is deviated. This emergent ray, that's what I have told here. Whenever the emergent ray is drawn in the backward direction, if it strikes the incident ray, wherever it strikes, there angle is formed. That is called angle of deviation. The emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray, and this angle is called as angle of deviation. The first terminology we have completed here. Now let us go into the next one. Now we are talking about a dispersion of light. Dispersion of light, white light by a glass prism. What is called as this dispersion of light? Dispersion is nothing else but whenever a white light is being converted into a VIBGYOR color, different colors, that thing we call it as a dispersion of light. Excuse me, just be online. I'm holding this one. So CMM. Now we'll try to see about the dispersion of white light. What is meant by dispersion? As I told just now, dispersion means whenever a white light is being converted into the VIBGYOR colors or different colors of the VIBGYOR, this conversion pattern only we call the process of converting a white beam light into a VIBGYOR colors or different colors, though that process we call it a dispersion. Okay, fine, ma'am. So see now, if this is my prism, whatever I explained just now, if the white light strikes over here, then it has to be refracted over here. This is the let me assume it as this is an incident ray, light ray. Then inside this prism, it becomes as a refracted ray, and afterwards it comes out of the prism, that becomes as an emergent ray. Whatever the VIBGYOR we see, those are nothing else but the emergent rays of a single white beam color. But these emergent rays will be at the different frequencies and wavelengths. Because of the different frequencies and because of different wavelengths, they appear as to be in different colors. So that is a simple explanation of what is meant by dispersion. So see now, when a beam of light is passed through a glass prism, it is splitted up. It is split up into a band of colors called as a light spectrum. What is a spectrum? Light spectrum is nothing else but it is a band of different colors whenever a white light has got split into different bands of colors. So that is called as a spectrum. So now, this splitting of light, this splitting of white light into different colors is called as a dispersion of white light. Dispersion of white light is what? It is a splitting of white light into different band of colors, which is that different band of colors only we call it as a spectrum. Then The spectrum of white has colors like violet. First V means violet, I means indigo, then B means blue, G is green, yellow, orange, and last comes your red. So that's how, since this all the colors has come over here, this band of colors we call as a spectrum. This band of colors we call as a VIBGYOR right from bottom to top. VIBGYOR, VIBGYOR. It's in the bottom to top. So it's called, because a white light has been splitted into different colors, it is called as a VIBGYOR. Then coming to this point, the red light, so CNO, this is the most important one. The red light bends the least, and the violet light bends the most. You can see now the bending of the light, which I named it as emergent ray. Emergent ray, the ray which bends, the emergent ray which bends very little, or the emergent ray which bends very leastly, that ray we call it as a red color. The emergent ray which bends a lot, that ray we call it as a violet. So this we are supposed to understand. Red, the bending angle of this one, bending for the red is very less, whereas the angle of this emergence is more for the violet. So this is about what is called as VIBGYOR, and what is called as dispersion, and what is called as a spectrum. So I hope it's clear to you this part. Then now let us enter into the next topic. So even this slides talk about the same thing. A white light, a single white light beam or white beam light is being converted or splitted into different colors, and this colors only we name it as a spectrum. The band spectrum, what is the definition of spectrum? Spectrum means it's a band of different colors. It's a band of colors which is called as a spectrum. So what colors does the spectrum has got? All these colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Right from bottom to top, if I take the first letters of these colors, it will be called as a VIBGYOR color. Okay, so this is about how the light has got splitted into different. One light has got splitted into different colors. Can you all hear to me? I need one to respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, see now. Now let us see the next part. The next part is about recombination of a spectrum. Recombination of spectrum of white light, which produces again a white light. What is actually this means here? Whenever you take the two prisms, and those two prisms have been kept in the two fashions. What are the fashions which have been shown in the slide? If you put the two prisms in this fashion, what happens first? A white light which enters to the first prism, it will be converted into VIBGYOR over here. Red has got the less bending, violet has got the more bending. Then afterwards, if you are trying to make this VIBGYOR colors, this is now the VIBGYOR color. Here we'll be having a VIBGYOR color which is called as a spectrum. So now, if you try to make the spectrum of light to pass through another prism in this fashion, then what happens? Those also will enter through the prism, and ultimately you will be getting again a white light. So this is a process which talks about how a white light can again reconverted into white light by using the two prisms. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. One prism, with the help of one prism, if the refraction takes place to the white light, it will produce as the spectrum colors. That is called as VIBGYOR. But now, if you're trying to make the VIBGYOR colors to pass through the spectrum, again it will try to produce as a white light. So see now, when a beam of white light is passed through a glass prism, it splits up into components of colors. What is a components colors? It is called as a spectrum, band of colors. Component of colors, sir, it is also called as band of colors. Now, when these components of colors, when these band of colors, or when this spectrum colors are allowed to fall on an inverted glass prism in this fashion, I told you, in order to get a VIBGYOR, you're supposed to put your glass prism in this fashion. And if you want to reconvert that VIBGYOR into white color again, you're supposed to put an inverted prism. It has to be in the upside down. When these colors are allowed to fall on an inverted glass prism, it will recombine those all. It will recombine means what? It will bring all the VIBGYOR colors to one single color. That single color is nothing else but the white color. So this is how we call, this is what we call recombination. Recombination means what? First, if a prism is kept out, through that prism, you'll be passing a single white color, and that prism, whenever the white color passes through this first prism, let me name it as first prism and second prism, this will produce as a band of colors. And those band of colors is called as a spectrum. Then again, if you are using a second prism which is having inverted nature of that prism, means it which has kept in the upside down, then if you pass this VIBGYOR colors through this one, what happens here? All this VIBGYOR colors, see now, from red to violet, there are many different colors, right? We have seen it in the previous slide. From red to violet, there are many these colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. All these are in between this gap, red and violet. All these colors are reunited, recombined at one particular point over here. At this point, it is recombined and it comes out as a single white color. And this process of combining all the VIBGYOR colors with the help of an inverted prism, we call it as a recombination of a spectrum of white light. And again, it produces us a white light. So this is how we produce a white light from another white light. So this is called recombination of a spectrum. Then next one, rainbow formation. So see now, how does the rainbow formation? Let us see now. We know that this rainbow formation, we know that this rainbow formation is what? It is a natural spectrum. Rainbow formation, we are not making it as a artificially, right? It's a natural spectrum. So now the rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing in the sky after the rain showers. We see especially rainbows, most of the time we see it in the after the rains, or else sometimes we see it without the rains also, even in the gloomy days. It is caused by how the rainbow is caused. It is caused by the same phenomenon what we have studied in the previous slide, with the phenomenon called as a dispersion. Dispersion means what? Splitting of one light into different colors. So let us see how does it happens. It actually happens here. We have taken a prism into consideration. Here we have taken a prism into consideration. But in the rainbow, what happens? The raindrop becomes as a prism there. In order to make get that rainbow formation, that happens because of the raindrop. So see now. It is caused by dispersion of sunlight by the water droplets present in the atmosphere. How this dispersion is happening here? Here, whenever the white light or the sunlight passes through the raindrop also has got the layers, right? One is outside, which is at air to the rain droplet interface, and again from rain droplet to air interface. So there are two kinds of interfaces. Now, what I'm talking with the rain droplet. So see, I'm talking about these interfaces. I'm talking about air glass prism, glass interface, and here glass to air interface. If I'm having a rain droplet here like this will now, if light is traveling, this becomes as air and rain droplet interface. And again, here it will be droplet and air interface. There are how many interfaces are there? There again, ultimately, there will be two interfaces. Interface means what? It's the junction point where the ray passes between the two media. Interface is nothing else but it's a junction point between the two media. What are the two media here? First media is air, and the second medium is a droplet, water droplets. So see. The water droplets acts like small prisms. Just now I told you, right? Your water droplet will act as what, ma? Small prisms. They refract and disperse the sunlight, then reflect it internally, and finally refract it again. The same process what you have studied in the prism, we are talking here now. First, the light travels into the water droplets. The refracted ray will be there inside that one. Then after that, the reflected ray comes out of that one. That ray which comes out of the rain droplet is called an emergent ray. That emergent rays only will be acting as a spectrum or the Vibgyor colors that comes out of the rain droplets. Due to this, the dispersion of sunlight through the water droplets, and also the internal reflection is taking place over here. Due to the internal reflection and sun dispersion of light by the water droplets, we see the rainbow colors. So I hope now it's clear to you how the rainbow is formed. So see now, we are having this water droplet over here. The sunlight falls over here, and the sunlight after that one, it goes and falls upon this rain droplet, and here internal reflection is taking place. Internal reflection means what? The reflection happens in the same media I told. If now this becomes as your incident ray, and this becomes as your reflected ray. So due to this internal reflection, the reflection is happening in the same media. That's why it calls internal reflection. That Vibgyor color will strike the other boundary of the water droplet, and after that they come out of this water droplet. That what we call as a refraction. Here the refraction takes place internally. Internal reflection takes place. So all the Vibgyor colors will go through a process called internal reflection, and after that one, the internal reflection means what? It is bouncing back. Reflection means what? What's the definition of reflection? It's a bouncing back of a ray. So now the rays which interact with this water droplet, they bounce back in some other direction. That bouncing back of rays, Vibgyor colors inside a water droplet is called as a internal reflection. That rays which has bounced back inside this water droplet, they come out of that water droplet, which we call the process as a refraction. And because of this refraction, we can see different colors, again, between red and violet. And that spectrum only we call it as a rainbow. And if the observer, if we as a human being or the observer is standing over here, we look into the sky, it looks like a rainbow color. So this is the entire process about how does a rainbow is formed. So see now, white light entering into the water droplet. Here, this is a what is this one? Vibgyor color. That Vibgyor color strikes the water droplet inside. Because of that one, the bouncing back of all this rays takes place. That bouncing back of rays inside a water droplet we call as an internal reflection of this Vibgyor color inside a water droplet, and that rays comes out of the water droplet into the air, which we call refraction. After this refraction only, we find again the Vibgyor colors, which we call it as a rainbow. So this is how the rainbow looks like. The next one, the last topic which we will be dealing today for this class, probably it will be the atmospheric refraction. Let us see the atmospheric refractions here. So see now, start. So now, what is our atmospheric refraction? Atmospheric refraction is due to the gradual change in the refractive index of atmosphere. We know that it is a refractive index has been studied by N or neta. So atmospheric refraction happens because of the refractive index of an atmosphere. So see now, the refractive index of atmosphere gradually increases towards the surface of the earth because the hot air above is less dense than come to the cool air below. So what is happening here? This refractive index will try to bend towards the refractive index of the atmosphere gradually increases here. This refractive index is going to increase. Why it is going to increase? Because the Earth's surface, what's actually happening? So see, I'll try to explain here clearly. Refractive index neta, it is increasing. Well, what is it? How it is increasing? It is increasing towards the Earth's surface. If this is my Earth, it is increasing towards the Earth's surface. Why it is increasing towards the Earth? Because the hot air in the atmosphere, there's a hot air. That hot air is less denser. Hot air will be less denser, right? It will be anyway. It's hot air, so or there will be all the particles inside that air will become scattered, and it becomes less denser. The hot air will be less denser, whereas the cool air will be more denser. So that's why, because the Earth has got a cool air which is more denser than the hot air which is present in the air, in the atmosphere. Because of that reason, the refractive index will increase, and that increase how? That increase towards the Earth. So because of this reason, the light gradually bend towards the normal. Why? Because of this, what will happen? The light will bend towards the normal. So now listen carefully. So the real position of star is different from its apparent position. So see, if this is the real position of the star, and this is called an apparent position. If the star is over here, if we look at the star, actually the star, whatever we are seeing in the sky, that is not that's not the real position. That is called an apparent position, but the real position will be somewhere else. So when it happens, because of increasing of the refractive index of the atmosphere. So atmospheric refraction happens because of what, ma? Increasing of the refractive index of atmosphere, and that increases towards the Earth's surface. I hope it's clear to you. Then see, this is what we are talking about. If a person is standing over here, this is the star here, actually position. This is called the real position, and this is the apparent position. If a person is standing over here, he thinks the star is over here. It's an apparent position, but actually the real position will be, this is a real position. And why does this atmospheric refraction is taking place? It's mainly happening because of the refractive index. What is happening with the refractive index? The refractive index is increasing. Refractive index of what? Refractive index of atmosphere is increasing. How it is increasing? It is increasing gradually towards the Earth's surface. Why does the refractive index of atmosphere has to increase towards the Earth's surface? Because the hot air in the atmosphere is less denser than the cool air, which is more denser in the Earth. So because of that reason, the refractive index of the atmosphere will bend, it will increase towards the Earth. And because of that one, we can have this kind of phenomenon, which is called as a atmospheric refraction. And now see the twinkling of stars. Now let us see what is twinkling of stars. The twinkling of stars is mainly because of, this is one of the applications of atmospheric refraction. The twinkling of stars is mainly because of the atmospheric refraction of starlight, and due to the changing of the position of the star. Why do the twinkling of stars takes place? The twinkling of star happens because of atmospheric refraction. What happens in the atmospheric refraction? This twinkling of stars happens due to atmospheric refraction of a starlight. And also the second reason is what? The second reason is that the star is not going to stay in one position. It is because of the changing in the position of the star, and also because of movement of the layers of the atmosphere. So see now, listen here now. The twinkling of the star takes place because of three reasons. First one, the first reason is what? It is mainly due to atmospheric refraction of star. The first point is atmospheric refraction of starlight. Then second one, what is the second point? The second reason is because of changing of the star position. Because of the changing of the star position. Then what is the third point? The third point is because of movement of layer. Movement of layers of atmosphere. These are the three main reasons for the twinkling of star. So keep this in mind. First one is a atmospheric refraction of the starlight. Second one is changing of star position. Third one is movement of layers of atmosphere. So the light of the star sometimes brighter. Because of this reason, the star is sometimes brighter and sometimes not that so brighter. So because of these two reasons, we can say the star is twinkling. Because of these three reasons, sometimes the star will be brighter and sometimes it will be fainter. Fainter means it will be not much brighter. And this brighter and fainter reasons of the star will make us to appear as if the star is twinkling. So see, the planets are closer to the Earth than the stars, and the light from the star is considered as point source of light, and the light from the planets are considered as an extended source of the light. And so the light from the planets nullify the twinkling effect. So this is how we talk about the how the twinkling effect has been nullified. The planets, we know that the planets are closer to the Earth than the stars. Stars are very high in the space, very far distance, and the light from the stars are considered as a point source. Means it is taken as a one particular default source point, and again the light from the planets are considered as an extended source of light. These point source of light and extended source of light will make the planets to nullify the twinkling effect of a star. So see here in the next diagram, this same diagram we'll be seeing here. This is how the twinkling of the star takes place. Light from a star, it looks like this, it is changing. And ultimately, when it comes over here, it looks like as the star is twinkling. The Earth's atmosphere with the moving pockets of the cold and warm air will make us to look like the star is twinkling. That's what I'm talking about. Because of the third point, movement of the layers of atmosphere. That's also one reason for the twinkling of the light. Now the second one we are talking here is about, let us see here now. We will be talking here the advanced sunrise and the delayed sunsets. The sun is visible to us about 2 minutes before the sunrise and about 2 minutes after the sunset due to the atmospheric refraction. Because of this atmospheric refraction, the sun is visible to any human being only for 2 minutes after the sunrise and before the sunset. Or so we can say that it is before the sunrise and after the sunset. Then the apparent flattening of the sun's disk at the sunrise and at the sunset is also mainly the flattening of the disk. Means we are talking about how the sun is moving its positions. That apparent position is also mainly because of the atmospheric refraction only. It is also because of the atmospheric refraction.